Alright, this is episode 9 of my podcast. I told myself at the beginning of this year I would do one episode a month, and this is the 9th in September. Bunch of kind of crazy stuff happened this week, but I'm going to touch on something that deals with beatboxing because people have kind of been asking me about it. I mean, it's been forever. It's been like 4 or 5 years since this stuff has happened. But I guess people are noticing it and asking me, like, where did States of Beatbox go? So, States of Beatbox was basically created between me and Alex. And back in 2011, 2012, in that time, I started beatboxing more seriously. Like, I tell people when they ask how did I get into it, I say I've beatboxed my whole life. I became a beatboxer in 2011, and I was moving at that point, splitting from a roommate and getting my own place. And so I think around the beginning of 2012 is when I really started searching. Like, there's got to be other beatboxers in Los Angeles, of all places, right? But it's really hard to find people to this day, and back then, even more so back then. I'm looking all over the place, and I find Rhino, and Rhino was a dick, and so he didn't want to chill. And so I met Alex, and he's in San Diego, which is really far, but I was like, hey, I'm down to meet beatboxers because it's really cool. One of the reasons why I wanted to meet another beatboxer or beatboxers is because I was watching collab videos, and when two beatboxers beatbox, it's kind of crazy the stuff they can come up with. So when I saw videos of that, and I realized it was 100% improvised, I was like, I gotta experience this. So I drove to San Diego, and I met a handful of people. I met Alex, and so I start telling him, like, hey, I'm going to start Los Angeles Beatbox because I can't believe there isn't something like that out here. He had San Diego Beatbox, and so I offered to make him a logo, and he was like, cool. And so I made a logo that looked similar, and at first he didn't like it. He's like, why are they the same? And then he kind of had this idea, and he just said, you're doing Los Angeles Beatbox, I'm doing San Diego Beatbox. What if we did, like, States of Beatbox? And when I read that, I didn't really need him to explain to me what that entailed, because I understood it, like United States, but it was also like a play on word, like the states of beatbox, like the stages it's gone through. And I was like, that's fucking dope. So I made a logo for States of Beatbox. Fun fact, it is the most stolen piece of art I've ever made. People all over the world take that logo and take out states and put their own wording in it. I guess I'm flattered by that because, I mean, it is a cool logo. So that's how States of Beatbox started. And from the beginning, it has always been, I guess it's not 100% dead. Like, we could all revive it if we wanted to, but I'm going to get into that. But the thing is, States of Beatbox has and always will be, even though it's done technically, for beatboxers. The idea was, we're going to make like this States of Beatbox group. We're going to show everybody. If you send a video, we'll show anyone we meet. We'll film and put and broadcast them on our channel. We shared links to everyone. And if we got messaged like, hey, do you have, and a precursor to this is Hollywood and in general casting is racist as shit for whatever reason. So people would hit you up and be like, hey, we need a Chinese beatboxer. Or like straight up, they'd say that kind of stuff. And it's kind of fucking disgusting if you ask me, because I've been hit up through States and other sources like Los Angeles Beatbox, where these people are like, we specifically need a Spanish guy and a black guy. All the other people, no. And it's like, it's just beatboxing, dude. There shouldn't be a color associated to it. But we get messages like that, and I'd say pretty much all of these organizations like Swiss Beatbox, they take that and they give it to their homie. You know what I mean? It's bias. It's like, no, we're not going to maybe give it to the person who fits their description. No, I'm Swiss Beatbox, and this is, the most popular beatboxer right now, so I'm going to pass it to him. Our idea was like, no, we are going to have a list of beatboxers, and we present that to those people. Maybe we have to edit it, because if they want a specific race or look, then maybe we have to edit out the list a little bit. But it's more like, hey, we're looking for one guy to do this, and we hit him with like, here's 20 people, here's a video of their best work, is a whole setup and copy and paste system, and then they would go and contact that beatboxer, because we also had their contact information. So we never took any offer and specifically gave it to ourselves, or just passed it to somebody because they were our friend. We always gave them options, and that's always been what States of Beatbox is. But for some reason, all the beatboxers that we met out here, now there's something I kind of want to say about beatboxers in general. They're all kind of terrible to work with. Like, I think that a beatboxer, if that's their first artistic craft or something, they're more likely to think like, oh, people think it's dope, that's what's coming out of my mouth, so I must be dope. I'm the dopest. Like, a lot of beatboxers have that. They'll put other people down, and they just think they're hot shit when they're not. And so that's a pretty bad thing with beatboxers, and most of them are kids. It's very rare to find a beatboxer that's older than 20. So a lot of these beatboxers didn't understand the concept of States of Beatbox. They just saw, oh, Liam and Alex do everything. They're in control. They're not going to help me. They're out for themselves, which is not what it was about. And so a lot of these dudes would just spin off and start their own freaking California or, Los Angeles or whatever said areas. They just make a new page and start something completely new. Wobbles is guilty of that with doing American Beatbox Archive, when we literally, me and Alex said, we'll give you access to the channel so that you can do all this stuff you're talking about and wanting to do for States of Beatbox. There's so many times where we gave people access or offered full transparency and access to States of Beatbox because we thought their ideas were cool. Hey, don't go and just like do your own thing. Like, join us and we'll give you access, and it's one thing so we can all grow together. But legitimately every beatboxer did their own channel and their own thing like States of Beatbox, and I would say they were doing what I accused all the other ones of doing. They would just take gigs for themselves, not really like build a community. And so there was a lot of power struggles, and people wanted to edit things this way. You should post it this way. You should make people pay this. You should do this many jams, like blah 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 blah. And it was just a lot of crap happening. So Alex dipped pretty early. I'd say for maybe another 3 or 4 years, me and Bruno, who was added on as a third person a little later, we kind of held the ship steady. When Alex left, he just told us he didn't have any passion for beatboxing. I don't blame him with all the crap that goes on. That's why me and Bruno ended up leaving. So at some point, Bruno leaves. He's just like, yo, I'm done. I don't want to really do anything with beatbox anymore. So then it was just me. And so I basically stopped because there's no point. It's really like beating a dead horse. For 8 years or more, I've tried to help the beatboxing community. I filmed everything. We, as States of Beatbox, threw so many battles here, so many jams. We gave so many beatboxers opportunities to get a spotlight and a free video. I edited it, did the logos, did the motion tracking, all that stuff. Anything you see on States of Beatbox, it's pretty much 90% my video content and all that. Like, I did that. And it's a lot of work to film an entire battle, which is like 4 hours, pretty much nonstop. There may be 1 or 2 10-minute breaks in that, but it's 4 hours usually. I have to film every single beatboxer in eliminations, like 30 people. Then 16 people going to compete, and it's really long. There's judge performances, there's random people performances. If you're using a venue and the guys are giving you a discount, sometimes they want to do something on stage for 10 minutes. So, and I filmed all that, and I'd go home and spend every night editing. Like, so this is, remember all this, because it's a part of why I quit, really. So ever since me, Alex, and Bruno stopped, nothing has happened, which proves to me that none of these beatboxers out there actually care about the community. No jams have happened, no battles have happened, nothing substantial. It's kind of crazy, because for the past 4 years or whatever, I don't know, no battles have happened. Like, it's dead. The scene is dead out here, and I feel like we really were carrying it for a while. So yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. Like, I might upload the battles from States of Beatbox to this channel, but if I do that, I really don't feel like going in and editing in and out the whole intro and outro. Like, I'm gonna slap all eliminations into one video and just play it. So there might be 30 seconds of intros in between everything, single one. I really have no more energy for this stuff. Like, I'm focusing on toys and the toy company and all that. Like, I really don't care to bother with beatboxing. I do have it on my mind. Somebody asked me if I was planning on doing this, and I am. It might be, you know, it might be a chunk of videos. I'm not trying to lose a big chunk of my following from uploading a ton of stuff, but I'd say it'd probably be like 20, maybe 20 videos, all being an hour, 2, 3 hours, because of the battles being so long. I might upload eliminations separate from the actual battle, but I just kind of plan on throwing it all in there and rendering it as like a 1 or 2 hour video and just uploading that as the battle, because I wiped everything from States of Beatbox because, again, power struggles, and I did all that work, and I'm not going to have some other people profit off of the work that I did. So, you know, nothing's happened. When I care, I'll upload it. That's pretty much how it's been. And the thing is dealing with beatboxers, like, here's the reason, the ultimate reason why I just gave up on the States of Beatbox and dealing with the community. It's a lot of little things and then one major thing. So people like Wobbles would always do like 70-30, if not 100-0 deals. Like, he's literally told me, if we both put in 500, I'm only giving you 200 back, because no good reason. So it's like, you don't want to do business with people like that. There's people like Geo and others who like are really good beatboxers, but they don't know anything about music, so it's like you can't collaborate, and they bug the hell out of you, like, let's make beats on the computer where like I incorporate my beatboxing, and then you give them a tempo hi-hat and they can't keep rhythm, or they just don't show up to the meetings you plan. Like, I was serious, like, oh, let's make music, so they just flakes all the time. I've had Beat Rhino plan this battle with me, and we were planning it for months, and then 2 weeks before we go, he was going to be one of the judges, and he said, I'll take control of manning all the judges and getting them here and doing that, which was like cool. And 2 weeks before this battle, he dips, and I'm like, dude, you're one of the judges, like, I need you there, like, what are we going to do now? And he just gives some bullshit excuse. It's like, thanks a lot, Rhino. That's really helpful to me. So I have to do the battle anyways. And then Orange Beats doesn't show up. He just completely flakes on it. No warning. The day of, like literally, and I think an hour before the battle was happening, that's when Orange Beats texts me and he's like, "Oh, I can't make it, dude." Great. Now I'm 2 judges out. There's 5 judges in this thing. We had to take people from the battle, like Frisco, and be like, "Frisco, we know you were going to battle, but we need you to judge." I had Wobbles hosting, and then because of how many people flaked on this thing, Wobbles now is a judge, which didn't make any sense. I think I had to be a judge, which was stupid because I was filming the whole battle. So things like that, it's just non-stop things like that with dealing with this whole community out here. Honestly, I don't really care anymore. I'm not cool with any of them, so I'll totally spill the beans on this type of shit. Fuck it. Plus, nobody probably listens to my podcast, so it doesn't really matter. So the big one, the big nail in the coffin, was we had a commercial gig get messaged to us. I'm talking $10,000, I think, was the price payout per beatboxer, and they wanted a group. And I knew, because this was such a sophisticated email, and I got hit up on States, Los Angeles Beatbox, and my Zombie profile, I was like, okay, these guys are serious. They must be messaging everyone. So this time, because it was just me left, Bruno and Alex left, this time I just said, you know what? I've passed on so many gigs to these guys when I could have stole them. I could have gladly taken the 20-minute gig and gotten paid $800, but no, I'd always pass it off. I'd let the people choose. So I was like, this time, I'm going to see if anyone tells me that this commercial gig is here. And nobody did. For a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, nobody said anything. And I was still talking to them because it's States of Beatbox, and so they wanted a group. The only person who hit me up about it was Harmicide, aka GI Soul. And he's one of the only people I'm cool with. Like, he hit me up and he told me about it. And he was like, yeah, me and the other guys, we're going. And you can join me. So, I don't blame Harm for this. I blame the other guys. Because, for whatever reason, we get there. Right? So, Harm picks me up and takes me there. And he's like, yeah, the other guys are going to be there. So, we meet the other guys. And they're just like, straight up, you can't do it with us. You can't do the audition with us. And I was like, why not? Like, that's what the whole plan was. We all planned this. And so this is the irony of it. They go in, maybe 3 people. They didn't let in me and another person, I think. Like, there was enough beatboxers there that we knew where we could have all went in there as a 5 to 7 team beatbox group, and we would have killed it. Guarantee we probably would have been chosen for that because it was happening in Los Angeles. Like, the shoot was in Los Angeles, and they wanted 7 beatboxers. But because these other fools are so greedy, they were like, no, you guys can't do the audition with us. So they didn't get it. Nobody got it. No one in Los Angeles got the damn gig. Guess who got it? People in New York, because they sent in a submission or they went and auditioned with 7 people. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about how good you were at beatboxing. They don't care about that. You can do so many takes and edit in music and stuff with a commercial. They just wanted 7 beatboxers as a group. That's it. And so after that, it's the way they were all like talking to me like they're cool with me. I was just like, you know what? I'm done with these people. Like, I've done so much for this community and they just like act like nothing's happened, Like, a lot of these beatboxers would say to me, Alex or Bruno, that we never helped them, And some of these guys went on to Swiss Beatbox and got featured there. I'm not saying that we are everything to do with that, but we were a big part of that. people used to watch States of Beatbox videos and stuff. Like, beatboxing was so small and niche that States of Beatboxing was a big thing. And people all around the world checked out States of Beatbox. So, like, we kind of helped them get noticed to where they could go on to Swiss or other bigger YouTube channels. And no, they didn't help us. And me personally, I'll take a bunch of shit from anybody. If you want to talk shit to me directly towards me, go ahead, say what you want to say. Like, I can usually handle that. But if you start talking crap about Alex or Bruno, like a lot of these beatboxers did, Wobbles, Crackbone, yeah, you fools, you guys openly start talking shit about Alex and Bruno, and they didn't deserve any of it. You know what I mean? That's really what ticked me off with those two instances, is that it was unneeded hate towards them. That's when I was like, I'm over these people. I'm just over beatboxing community. So the way I explain it is, beatboxing is really cool. I love beatboxing as an art, but the community and the people involved with it is real trash. It's probably the most trash community I've ever dealt with, and I've dealt with a lot of communities, all the toys that I do, video games, random stuff, hobbies, art, anything. Like, I'm involved in a lot of communities. Just toys alone is like 80 of them. And beatboxing is terrible. Like, it's really pointless. If you want to meet up with beatboxers and just beatbox, then you can throw jams, but people really don't go to jams. They really need that pay. They need to get that, like, cash prize, and they need to battle somebody so they can feel better. When we would do battles, everyone would show up. But when we would do jams, it was like the same group of 5 people would show up. It was sad. It still is sad that nobody wants to jam. It's all, I need money, I need to win, I need to battle somebody. So beatboxing is dead. I still beatbox. I beatbox all the time. And since I've left and exited the whole scene and all that, I actually enjoy beatboxing more. I'm not thinking about, man, I need to prepare this beat for this battle, or what would I do in this situation on stage, or blah blah blah, this person's doing this sound, or this sound's happening, I need to learn that sound. No, now I just beatbox for fun, and it's a lot cooler. It's a lot cooler. It's art now versus it being something that you stress out, I guess. So, all that being said, that's all the States of Beatbox stuff. So this week, this is what happened. And this is a little bit weird. This big old dum-dum, right, I used to work for, complete insane person, the most emotionally unstable person I've ever met or worked for, pretty much the spitting image of a silver-spooned Silicon Valley tyrant business owner. Complete nut job, right? I haven't dealt with this dude in a year. Over a year. And I get a call at my job, which I thought was a prank call. And it turns out it was him, because he showed up to my workplace when I left and said a bunch of crazy stuff to my boss. My boss luckily was just like, get out of here, because he said he was being very aggressive and violent. I think this dude saw my car and then went in, but I wasn't there because I leave a little bit earlier. And when he found out I wasn't in there, he just tried to, say a bunch of random stuff. So this dude, he's insane. When I worked for him, he said, I'm going to give you, this is the time when we'll have a meeting to give you your raise. And I was like, cool, okay. And he calls me into that meeting, and the first thing he does is accuse me of stealing. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're stealing chicken sandwiches from people. And I was like, bro, I'm vegan. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not stealing anything. Like, what is this meeting about? And several times this dude would pull me into meetings. One time he pulled me into a meeting and he just said, I don't fucking like you. Like, straight up. And, it's rare to hear somebody be that blunt. And so I'm the type of person where, I was thinking, that's pretty messed up to say. But at the same time, I respect the honesty. Like, I couldn't deny the honesty, which I respected. But he's such a nut job that it was just like, who the hell does that? Because I was just working on my normal thing like I did every day. And he's like, yeah, I need to have a meeting with you. And he said that. And so when he said that, I was like, how's my work, though? Like, what? I don't understand why you just don't like me. And he's like, your work is great. I just don't fucking like you. And I was just confused. Like, all right, dude. Like, this dude has said things like, you're from Georgia? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, people from Georgia, like, all white people are racist. What would make you want to come to California? And I was just like, I'm not racist. I was just confused. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, California's a liberal state. People aren't racist here. Which is not true, but I was just like, what? Like, that's the type of shit this dude would say to me. He said that on a lunch we had. Like, the dude was crazy. Craziest thing ever was, I'm on machine A all day. This dude named Jason's on machine B all day. Everyone sees we're both on these machines. At the very end of the day, I need to get some jobs done, so I go to the machine Jason was using, and I noticed that it's broken. Somebody threw a duster into this massive 400-degree roller, right? It was like a steam press. And I go and I tell the main dude there, I'm like, hey, what is this? And he's like, well, what the hell is that? So he goes and shuts the machine down, and we deduced that it was a duster that fell in. So everyone in the warehouse is like, Liam never used that machine all day. Jason was on it all day. And even though everybody said that to the boss, Mr. Dummy, everyone said, hey, dude, Liam didn't do that. He still blamed me. And he let the other dude go off with a warning. He broke a $10,000 fucking machine. It cost the dude $10,000 to replace it. And, oh yeah, a warning. So that's how much, like, this guy just was crazy. He didn't like me, which was, I get it when people don't like me, but this was a job I actually liked. My main job was making patches, doing graphics, and operating 2 laser cutters at once. And I loved laser cutting. That was like super fun. I was good at my job. I kept my mouth shut. I put my head down. I didn't talk to anybody. Right? Because when I like a job, you won't know anything about me really. Because I'll just do the work. And this dude treated me like trash. And now he's coming into my place of work, which is kind of ridiculous. I just told him, like, dude, you called and walked into my, like, place. Like, he's saying that I'm harassing him because I've said some mean things to him in the past. And, dude, really, I have no idea why he went into the store. He's saying that I texted him, but I never texted him. I texted you a year ago, bro. I think he saw my car and came in. I can't figure it out. But it's just a bit crazy. I just told him, like, dude, that is actual harassment. Showing up and being crazy. Like, you're trying to find me. What would have happened if I was there? Would you have fought me or something? I was just like, dude, just leave it. Leave me alone. Piss off, please. Like, it's been a year, dude. Leave me alone. So that's crazy. If I get fired for some dumb shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I'm kind of sick of working, sick of looking for work all the time. Everyone, I feel so bad for you and everybody who has to constantly look for work and work for shitty people, because I've worked for a lot of shitty business owners, terrible people who would kill thousands of people if it meant they'd have a nice steak at night. You know, like, oh, at least I can feed my 2 kids or my wife or whatever. People out here cutthroat. People in general who run businesses seem to have something wrong with them, I think. Like no joke, that guy is a spitting image of what you would consider a tyrant Silicon Valley business owner to be. Just a insane quack job. So that's crazy that's going on. Just a side note, I was gonna move out of LA this past January, but I got the job I have now. That's why I'm saying, like, if I lost my job, I don't know what the hell I would do, because I don't want to move. I'd be forced to move, and it's to keep Play Excess afloat. That's the only reason I'd do it. I'd just be a drifter out here if I could. I have things, I have material items, which is a store and Play Excess and all the toys, and I don't want that to flop, so I'm going to keep that afloat. So if I have to, I'm going to move. Don't want to, though. As for the drones, I'm going to start posting drone edits this month in October. So expect that. I haven't been flying as much because both of my drones are ruined. My voice has been cracking really weird throughout this podcast. It's because I haven't drank anything since I started this. What was I just talking about? Drones. Yeah, I've completely wrecked both drones, and now I understand why people fly so safe. I watched videos when I got into drones, and I was like, man, everyone's flying too cautiously. Just hit that gap. Just do that trick. Get closer to the wall. And that's how I fly. And so I've beat the hell out of my drones. Like, instead of me giving up on a trick, I'll keep trying it. And because of that, I've thrashed the drones. My Tiny Hawk, the motor is broken on one of them. And on my Tiny Hawk 2, when I throttle it all, my video feed cuts off. So it's basically useless. Now, I could fix those things, but this is partly why I got into drones. I could order $50, motors, which would give you 4 of them. It's like $45, and I could buy like a new VTX or something and take apart the things and put them back together. That's a lot of work to do with soldering, and then it's almost half the price of just buying a new one. If I buy a new Tiny Hawk 2, I get the whole entire drone, 8 set of props, 2 batteries, a new charger for the USB charger, and some other accessories. And it's like, oh, I'd rather just, pay that extra 50 on top of the 50, make it 100 and get a new drone. So that's what I'm going to do eventually. I got to save some money. But I do have several edits coming. So I'm going to cut this podcast off right now. This is kind of crazy because I don't know if I've done a podcast this long. I didn't think this was going to be that long. I thought this was going to be like 15 minutes. But I wanted to tell the story of States of Beatbox and the crazy ass dude walking into my job. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you guys are doing well, because I've been having a shit time, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Wow. 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 fuck the beatbox community.